So this is how I recommend you use the Pro Pencil by Eyebrow Queen, my absolute favourite brow product. First things first, always have 2 shades of this pencil available because you're going to use the lighter one after you've had your brows tinted, and then you've got the darker one to fill in as your brows fade. If you've never bought this before, I would recommend you start with the blonde or the bronze. Keep it light because that way you'll make less mistakes. So I have one eyebrow done and one eyebrow not done. You can see the difference that makes on my brows, which are quite sparse. Obviously, as you get older, that always happens. And I haven't tinted my brows for ages. That is on my to-do list. So the first thing I recommend that you do is you use the spoolie side and you're just going to brush over your eyebrow. That lets you see what you're working with. It puts the hairs in the right position, and then you're going to go in with the pencil. What I love about this pencil is you don't need to sharpen it, and it has got a tiny, tiny fine point. Pro tip is to always start on the tail of the brow. You do not start in at the nose. That is called the bulb. If you put too much product there, it is going to look terrible, and it's always harder to take product away than to add it in. So start out here. The idea is that you're going to add strength. It's not colouring in, you're just adding strength to where you've got gaps or where the hair is very, very light. So starting here and working in. As you get in towards the nose, you're going to go a little bit lighter and you're just going to be drawing a straight line along the bottom. You're now just going to draw tiny little hair strokes because that is actually all that is at the front of the brows for most people. A tiny amount of hair, not a big chunk of colour. So that looks better already. And then finally, what you might want to do is just to brush through, just to blend it all together and give it a really natural look. What do you think? I think it just makes a huge amount of difference, but it keeps it natural. No blocks of colour, no big scary eyebrows. It really is that easy. And just remember, don't use a magnifying mirror, and stand back occasionally so that you can see the finished look on both brows.